Oh, yeah. So, yes, I know that you're there. Say hello, guys.
Hello.
Hello, everybody.
Okay.
Welcome back to our little playtime.
Okay. Right. Well, what I'm going to do first is I'm just going to give a quick intro to what we're going to be doing tonight. So I'm just going to say, good evening, patriots and skeptics alike. Welcome to the news, where common sense battles the woke circus daily. Do you like that? What do you think of that?
That's a never-ending battle, isn't it?
It is. Right. In the US, President Trump's sticking it to the globalists with a glorious 25% tariff on imported cars and trucks starting Wednesday. Finally, a leader protecting American jobs from cheap foreign junk. Cheap, BMW, cheap. Mm-hmm. I don't think so. All right. And obviously, Europe's whining, okay? And some EU genius wants to tax PayPal in retaliation. Well, that's mature, isn't it, guys? Yeah. Anyway, Trump's already warning the EU and Canada that if they team up to hurt them, they're going to face a tariff, and a tariff wall so big, it's going to make Hadrian's Wall look like miniature. That's what I call backbone. In the UK, any comments? Silence.
What is it to say about the UK? Exactly.
Well, they're pretending to care about security, talking with France about sending assurance troops to Ukraine post-peace deal.
Yeah.
What are they doing about the peace deal, though?
Well, what I'm going to say
They're just
is...
going to let someone else fix that, are they? And then
they are.
send a few troops in. Yeah, wow, what backbone? That's a way to stand up to Putin, isn't it? Hey.
It is. I know that nobody can see you at the moment, but it doesn't matter. You keep on talking and sniping from the background.
Raised as usual, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I say good luck trusting the French, because they're going to surrender as soon as they see the first vodka bottle. Still, Britain's got bigger fish to fry in that good old English Chinese fish and chip shop. Prices are up, confidence is down, and the Brexit's blessings are buried under red tape. I think it's time to ditch the EU shackles for good. Okay. Speaking of France, Marie Le Pen's getting railroaded by the elitist courts. 4 years in prison.
Not.
Yeah. Isn't that so surprising? Okay. 2 of them suspended for supposedly misusing EU funds. Misusing EU funds. You catching that? I mean...
Yeah, that's never happened before, has it?
No. All right. So she's going to get a 5-year ban from office. And that's Brussels punishing a patriot for daring to put France first. Okay. She's going to fight it. There's no doubt. Okay. And Europe is rearming. They've got a plan. That's the one thing that maybe they're getting half right. Germany's Scholz is mad about steel tariffs, and about time they grew a spine against Russia's games. Spain is in a mess. Barcelona's housing crisis is what you get when liberals let tourists and investors ruin everything for hard-working folks. So, here we are. We're going to move on. All right? So the truth of the matter is, Trump's winning, Le Pen's fighting, and the UK... UK is limping. All right?
It's going down the pan.
Well, I think we better stay sharp, guys, because before you know it, Starmer's government is going to tax sarcasm. Okay, here we go. Let's get everybody in. You ready?
Oh, here we are, Matt. We've been on 15 minutes.
Hello, mate.
Yeah, with him,
Ab Fab show for a bit.
With him swearing when we went live. I'm absolutely certain of it.
He's been gobbling the time more than the Raven used to do.
You missed what you're not reading, are you?
Well, I've missed it. I keep forgetting about that.
You should have been
It's
looking.
all right. He'll come round again, I believe.
Well,
Pound breaks down, admitting it's difficult being related to Einstein. Yeah, it's about right, isn't it?
there's so much going on, and I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, like,
Followers.
What are we going to talk about tonight? I know Mark's got quite a few things he wants to have a chat about.
I thought you were going to say Statsman gains millions of ex-followers by calling Mr. Starmer a bell end. I thought you might have put that one on there.
Really?
Have we been kicked off X for that, or is it just when I say it?
I don't know. It's just when you say it, probably.
But I say that I don't know what's going on there with him saying Starmer is actually a nice guy. a nice guy who takes, reform branch infrastructure is collapsing like HS2. That's about right. Karen Shaw, classic, pledges to build bus and cycle lanes in Runcorn. That'll go down well.
What do you think?
Excellent.
Will she be using the cycle lane herself?
Well, tell you, I
Doubt it.
I doubt it. Okay. I think it's time. We'll go on to the first subject. Okay. And have a look at this and give us your comments.
I do think is the biggest betrayal, arguably, in British history. Labour is planning to move asylum seekers, illegal migrants and foreign nationals into brand new housing developments, quite possibly near you. Now, I sat on this very sofa and I warned you about this before the last election. I warned you in June, then I warned you in July, then I warned you in September, December, January and February. And you know what happened at the time? People on the left, they said this is dangerous, racist scaremongering. This will never happen. Well, what's happened today? It's proven to be the truth. And I want to read this to you now because it's a new document published by the Treasury's new Office for Value for Money. And this is what it states. It makes clear that Sir Keir Starmer's plan to build between 1.5 and 1.9 million new homes in England by 2029 will help reduce the need for asylum seekers to be funneled into hotels.
So you're getting that. You're getting that. So he is expecting by 2029, 1.5 million asylum seekers in the country.
Well, he's already got them. He's just housing them.
No,
what he said there, what made me giggle then when he said that, is he's on about 1.5 to 1.9 million. Now it's gone up.
Yep.
It was 1.5, which every single person that's in the building industry, anybody that's involved in any statistics like Mr. Stats there, has said it's not physically possible. It's not going to happen. You're not going to get 1.5 million. And he's saying 1.5 to 1.9 by 2029.
Yeah.
You're not even going to get 500,000.
No, it's quite incredible. I'll carry on.
Well, what do you make of that then? Is that not cast iron guarantees that Labour are going to put asylum seekers in these new houses that are quite possibly going to be built at the back of your house? But, oh, don't worry, you'll have a say in vetoing where these houses are built, won't you? Oh, no, because it looks as though local councils are going to have some of those powers stripped away from them. Instead, planning officers are going to be deciding where these houses are put. So your elected local officials will not have much to say when it comes to vetoing them. And get this, though, I mean, this is the real shocker. According to Labour's Planning and Infrastructure Bill, I'm going to quote this again now, local councils, the same ones who will not really be able to object to where these houses are built, will have a statutory duty to engage with, quotes, racial, ethnic and religious groups. So what does that mean? Again, for you, in your area. Where are these houses going to be built? Well, because of the sheer number and volume of houses that Labour have promised to build, they are going to have to be built on a lot of green belt land.
All right, okay. So, Mark, what's your feeling?
The English are an ethnic groups, and they're the homogenous. They should be getting the houses first. End of story.
But that's not going to happen, though, is it?
No, well, we all knew, mate. We all knew this way before Labour even got elected. This isn't it, flipping Patrick there, the slow kid catching up. Oh, we've been talking about this. Angela Rayner told us months ago, didn't she? She was asked, we haven't got any houses. Oh, what about all the immigrants? Oh, we've got houses for them. Yeah, it's fine.
No.
And she also told you,
not a surprise to me,
the first thing that came out of her mouth in Power, Mark, if you remember, they're coming to every single town.
Yep.
Correct.
Yep. Okay, well, you know, we got the feel of that. All right. Now, I'm a bit surprised at this next one because I did a response to the budget that Rachel Reeves did. Now, Victoria Derbyshire has come on. Check this out. And this, we were predicting about 250,000 kids are going to be, in poverty. Check this out.
VD, is she still knocking around? I've not heard it of her for years.
VD.
Look, it depends what you mean by poverty, because, like, look, if you haven't got the internet now, you're in poverty. Not, you can't feed your kids or clothe them, or
I get
you've got
that.
no heating and you can't light your home. If you haven't got the newest iPhone and the internet,
Okay, well, here we go. Let's have a listen to what she says. Here we go.
We've actually got the figures now from the government about how many people are going to be affected by their benefit changes / cuts. So these are the government's own figures. 370,000 disabled people on PIP, personal independence payments, right now will lose it. That is an average loss, says the government, of $4,500 a year. Average means, as you know, some will lose more, but some will lose less than that. 2.25 million sick people currently getting Universal Credit Health, also known as the UC Health Top-Up, also known as incapacity benefits, will be affected because it's going to be frozen. So it won't go.
Okay. All right. Now, you keep on listening to what she's saying here. Now, this is supposedly the caring Labour government.
Up in line with inflation. So those people will lose, on average, £500 a year. Some 3.9 million households not on the Universal Credit Health element are expected to gain from an increase in the standard allowance of universal credit, an average gain of about £265 per year. Also, 250,000 people, including 50,000 children, will be pushed into poverty as a result of these benefit changes / cuts. On that point, the government says, but this impact assessment does not take into account the £1 billion they are putting into tailored support to help to get people on benefits back into work.
That doesn't put cash in their pocket. It doesn't put cash into their pocket. They set something up to do something, but it doesn't actually help those people. I mean, do you remember that interview with that MP who was asked if he could live on £70 a week?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that?
It's not taken in consideration. The more and more people come into the country, the lower the wages are going to get for those who are already here.
Tell me, how many people do you see who are not of this country delivering food for Deliveroo?
Pretty much all of them.
All of them. Okay.
Or wearing balaclavas and just not obeying the rules of the road.
Yeah.
Can we not see something here, right? They keep going on. We've got to cut this.
Yep.
What we're talking? Pennies.
Yeah.
$1 billion.
Yeah.
For the elderly, right? We're stopping their fuel allowance. These benefits here that will save $5 billion over 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
By making all these disabled people suffer.
I know.
Right? Suffer.
I cannot work it out. I cannot work it out.
$1 billion a year. And they're not mentioning one iota about the 5 to 7 billion for immigrants in hotels going up and up and up.
And up. Yep,
every single day.
What about the tens of billions we send abroad? The majority of it for daft woke nonsense.
Well,
it goes on and on.
You've said it. You've said it. Let's see what we'll let her finish that, and then we'll go on to that subject that Mark has just mentioned there. Let's let her finish what she's going to say. Here we go.
The government has also said on multiple occasions those who cannot work will be protected. One other piece of more positive news is that the government says by the end of 2029, on average, each household will be £500 better off.
Really? Really?
Do you know the irony of listening to all these dimwit lefties complaining about the people he voted for?
That's what gets me. You know, they know, Starmer knows he's not going to get voted in again by these people. He knows that for a start off. Right now, okay, Mark, you were talking about these woke things that we're sending money out of the country for. Well, it just so happens, check this out, right?
It's time to reveal a national scandal. British taxpayers are sending billions of pounds abroad to pointless woke projects, while we're told there's a £22 billion black hole.
Now, this is really interesting. Now, there are so many projects that this relates to. Did you know that £1.4 billion was sent to refurbish the Nairobi High Commission, and £15.5 million was sent to create climate smart jobs in Uganda. Now, this is money on all of these projects around the world.
Sorry,
climate smart jobs in Uganda. Now, this is just a really interesting topic and debate, and I'm sure so many of you have different views on this. But do you think that this should be happening? Do you think that the UK should be spending taxpayer money on all of these projects around the world? I'm not talking about aid for war.
Are you
here.
agreeing
I'm
with that,
talking
Trevor?
about-
Are you saying
I
we
totally
should
agree.
we should send the money to these other parts of the world?
Totally agree. Yeah, of course I do.
You liar.
Well, if you started it, you know, it's an absolute nonsense, so let's all go along with the nonsense.
Sadly, we done a podcast we had to pull because obviously the sound wasn't good. You know, we were testing stuff, and we went through loads of this stuff, and that stuff sounds kind of half sensible, apart from the million cents for the Europe that gay porn built and all this and stuff.
Yeah.
They're literally pushing this woke mind virus around the world, and we're paying for that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want it in our
if we all
country,
agree
never
with
mind
it-
other countries.
Yeah, I think if we all agree with it, we all promote it, we keep pushing it and pushing it and pushing it, they're bound to drop it because they won't do anything we want.
I see your logic. Okay, let her finish. Here we go.
projects, but at the same time we are being told time and time again that we have this massive £22 billion hole? Or do you think the taxpayer money should be used for projects in the UK or to reduce taxes in the UK? I would love to hear what you think. What do you think UK taxpayer money should be paid on? Let me know.
There you go. Right. So if you think about it, I understand what Trevor's saying because, you know, it is a woke mind virus that's, you know, hanging about, and they're doing that. Now, if they're actually following through with that, my logic is that they're going to start to find the connections like DOGE in the US are. All right. Now, check this out. I mean, this is just incredible. Listen to this.
Everybody knows who Jasmine Crockett is right about now. And, well, let's just say she's got the...
Jasmine Crockett, okay, is a representative. And she's a Democrat representative. All right? She came in 2023. Now, listen to what this guy's got to say.
I'm glad you said
DOGE
that.
after all the crap she's been talking about Elon. Elon posted on X the other day, well, Jasmine, I see that you make $174,000 a year, but in the 18 months that you've been in the House of Representatives, you have purchased a $5 million house in Texas. You have a $2.5 million lake house and another house you bought for $1.5 million. So Elon and the United States government, along with so many more citizens, would love to know, Jasmine, how did you buy all that?
Gravy train, isn't it?
Ah, there you go.
Wow.
Now, you see, now you know why the left are so desperate to take them out, because they're beginning to find them out. Now, 174K, but she's purchased properties, up to a value of 10 million.
Do you guys think this money actually ends up going to the places it's meant to? Because it really doesn't.
No.
All these people in Nairobi, whatever, they'll all have the presidents and the heads of state, whatever. They'll all have new planes and nice palaces.
Yep.
And then they tried to push all this woke stuff in Afghanistan. But Callum, who used to be on Lotus Eaters, he actually went over there and he was with the Taliban and that. And he found he just chucked all that crap on the floor out the back.
Yeah.
Not interested. They'll take all that money, but it'll all be getting spent on arms and stuff like that. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, I've got a complete twist on here because you've just put that up, and obviously I don't know what you're going to put up. This is not scripted, ladies and
No,
gentlemen.
it isn't. It isn't.
But you just mentioned that Crockett then, and I know there's a Davy Crockett, isn't there?
It is what it was.
Remember him with his
Well,
little
I don't
cat?
think there's any connection.
Well, I think there might be, because I can't believe I've got something that I was going to add tonight, and I might as well add it now because it's just an idea that I had for our podcast. Because, as I said a while ago, when on the live chat when we first started the live chat,
Yeah.
and I've been watching your videos, and they're a little bit, I don't know how to word it really, tacky. Say tacky.
Whose videos?
You and Mark, when I was away and I was looking, I've been looking at them. And it's quite tacky, so I thought, what we need to do now that we're going live, right? Now that we're going live, and I thought,
Jealous much.
I can't believe
Is that when we got loads of views while you were away? That one?
Yeah, we
I
did.
can't believe that we was just. You've just mentioned that Crockett then, because I think we need a couple of short specials to boost it.
Yeah.
Special topics, like only 3 or 5 minutes, something like say gardening or stuff like that.
Gardening,
Yeah,
lads.
You're on your own with that one, mate.
I'm sure everybody's gonna be interested in that. You know, the listeners that we have now.
I mean, we can pander for the left here because we can discuss pansies, right? Or we can do a little section, and this is where it comes in now. This is where it comes in, right? Because what we've got, we can do a section on pets or mammals. Oh, now that is interesting. And this is where it comes into my Crockett thing, that I can actually discuss my favourite mammal, which is the beaver. That's the David Crockett. I can't believe you've mentioned Crockett. Now, since
God, where are you going with this?
Well, I was telling you now, since I was a young lad, I've tried to see as many beavers as I could. I've been searching everywhere for beavers. I think they're lovely.
Go to the zoo.
In the wild. No, in the wild. I mean, I'll finish this because even in the wild, I've seen them. I've seen them everywhere, all over England. And a collective of beavers in the wild is known as dogging. Right? Now, I don't even know what that is. But what I'm getting at on the whole gist of this is that, you know, I think this will get our viewers talking. We'll get some comments coming.
Oh, they'll be talking about beavers now. We've just lost a viewer. Seems like you're talking about beavers.
Beavers and dogging. Well, I think that's going to take us up a notch. I think we're going to get more comments, and people will be talking about dogging and beavers.
Yeah, let's
to
go.
Educate us. That's what I think. That's a good idea. That
let's get back.
No, that's you were saying Crockett. It just took me straight onto that subject about beavers, my favourite subject.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, Gazelle.
Okay, we'll get back. Sorry about that. Just diversified then, but I think it was important.
All right, okay. Well, here we go. Right. What do you think about this? Here we go.
Well, I'm disappointed in this response, and the Lord Chancellor is obviously continuing to engage on this, and we're considering our response. And, you know, all options are on the table, but I am disappointed at this outcome, and now we'll have to consider what we do as a result.
Put them in jail. I don't know what it was, but that's
political editor Christopher Hope. Now, it seems to me.
Now we're talking about the changes to the sentencing guidelines, that have come in. All right, so have a listen. This gives an explanation. He's quite good about it. And then I've got a comment to make about it. Here we go.
That the politicians want the Sentencing Council to change their direction here, but they're not willing to legislate to do so. They're in a bit of a war of words here.
Sack them all then.
Yeah.
Yes, they are. And hi, Charlie. Hi, Nana. Welcome to Huddersfield, where it's pretty cold up here. I've been talking to the Prime Minister moments ago. I asked him twice, will you just scrap the Sentencing Council? It's a quango. You have the power to scrap it. What you don't do is have the power to overrule it. And frankly, the judges now are looking back at the elected politicians here, both Sir Keir Starmer and Shabana Mahmood, who is a Justice Secretary, and saying, I'm afraid to say, these are what's going to happen. And from Tuesday, this is what will happen. Judges will prepare pre-sentencing reports when necessary. And if someone is of ethnic, cultural or faith minority, or a young person under 25, or a woman or a pregnant woman, they will get a special sentencing report. Normally, those pre-sentencing reports do mean that the sentence is mitigated, that time is taken off for a jail term, for example. What it means, though, is that white men are going to be treated a lot tougher by judges from Tuesday compared to other groups in society. And that is unacceptable to the Prime Minister. He said...
Okay. Now, the Prime Minister's saying that's unacceptable, all right? Now, all of a sudden, he's beginning to realize that if he allows that to go through, there are going to be a lot of repercussions to that, a lot of repercussions.
Speaking of repercussions, John, isn't this amazing that they're now feeling the repercussions of the things Tony Blair did?
Yep.
And people before him. Who came up with these? Was it the Conservatives or was it Tony Blair?
No, well, I think it was Tony Blair, to be honest with you.
The Sentencing Council.
Yeah.
I got a feeling it might have been the Conservatives. Either way, the Uni Party destroyed the country. And now isn't it funny that all the things they've put in place are now causing Labour a problem? Who would have thought it? So they haven't got the authority to overrule them, but they can scrap them. Well,
he says he's going to introduce legislation, right, to curtail it.
Again, this is the whole taking power away from Parliament over years has caused all this mess with these quangos.
Right.
So just bye-bye. You know, what would Trump do about now? They'd already be gone, wouldn't he?
Executive
Oh,
order.
they'd
Because
be
he's
gone.
got a spine and a pair of testicles.
Yeah, they'd be
These
gone.
are absolute cowards.
I mean,
Get rid of
that
him.
don't make sense. Like, you can't do anything about them, but to close them down doesn't make sense.
Well, it's a quango. It should actually be in control of the minister, really, that's responsible, because if she's the head of the law in this country, then literally they should have some responsibility towards that, and they should have the ability to issue the equivalent of an executive order to get rid of it.
Otherwise, we've got the king and we've got Parliament, and then we've got Quang. Oh, no, hang on. We've got Quangos, the king, and then Parliament. Is that right then? So the
That's it.
Quangos decide everything now, do they?
Yeah.
In what constitutional monarchy do Quangos decide what goes on? These people have destroyed this country and muddled it up that much. None of them even understand what's going on anymore.
Yeah,
No.
I
They are
agree with
thick
that.
as
Now,
pigs.
you've got all right, the right and wrong of it. She is an elected. They are elected officials
And she's also,
with no power anymore.
well,
with no power.
yes, with no power, right? But
Oh, these people.
if they introduce legislation, now the word is that they're going to cave in, and I'm talking about the people that are trying to implement these new rules. Now they're going to cave in rather than go through the ignominy of having legislation introduced to make them look stupid. So this quango is, I'd put money on it. They're gonna give in. I would say.
Called out these quangos for years and years and years.
Absolutely.
It's just didn't see this coming. Imagine my shock.
Well,
Well, remember us a while ago. We was on about we brought this up about the Police and Crime Commissioner. What were they? The watchdog. A dog with no teeth.
Yeah.
Remember
Yes.
when David Keane was in there and he just employed who he wanted to, and they said, "Well, you can't employ her. She's not got any qualifications. Don't matter. It's his gift."
Yeah. He can do what he wants.
And the watchdog,
Was
doesn't have any
toothless.
teeth.
Absolutely.
Do anything.
Well, you were talking
Another
about
quango.
royalty before, Mark. Have a look at this. Now, this is Australian TV. Okay, I love doing these things and having a look through these things. I know this. I love it. Here we go.
The King of the United Kingdom is the head of the Church of England and the defender of the faith. And he is defending the faith. The problem is it's just not the faith that the Church of England believes in. In the last week, Charles has been packing dates for Muslims who are breaking their fast during Ramadan. He has held a call to prayer for Muslims in Windsor Castle, and the royal family's social media accounts have been welcoming Ramadan. At the same time, those accounts and Charles have been conspicuously silent about the beginning of Lent, about Shrove Tuesday and about Ash Wednesday. Yeah. In other words, the holy rituals and traditions that the Church of England believes in. This is a slap in the face to Christians across the United Kingdom. And
Now, not a word from the Church of England. Did anybody hear anything from the Church of England?
No, because the faith he's meant to defend doesn't really exist anymore, does it?
It does. 46.7% of the country is Christian.
About 7% of them go to church regularly. So
It doesn't matter. They identify as Christian.
Doesn't it? It does.
Well, in this case,
if I play footy on a field, does that make me a footballer?
Islam is still a minority. It's a
but
minority.
They're jumping onto the popular one now. This is what he's doing.
Well,
of the faiths, he changed his whole car. He hasn't got the powers to change all that.
Yeah, well,
change his coronation oath and all that. Again, he's trashed the Constitution. Him and Blair and the Tories and everyone absolutely destroyed anything this country ever stood for.
He's
turning. This just seems to endorse what a lot of people are saying. We're a laughingstock around the world.
Oh God, yes. Oh God,
we're a laughingstock. We've
without
got
a shadow of a doubt.
In charge.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
If they don't want to be a constitutional monarchy anymore, Trev, we need to come up with something else.
Okay,
well, at the minute, it's not, is it?
No,
Mark,
it
if
isn't.
they've got to go, haven't they? Simple
Well,
as
that's
that.
it. That's it. That's what is on the cards for him. Let this guy finish off. Let's go.
Yeah.
I said that Charles is defending the wrong faith. I wasn't necessarily referring to Islam, although that is certainly a component of this. He is defending the religion of the progressive elites of recent years. It is the progressive leftist establishment that believes in DEI, in wokeism, in multiculturalism. Yep. Now, we know that Charles believes that sort of stuff in his heart, but it's now very obviously bubbling to the surface in his role. And make no mistake, this is an existential threat for the future of the monarchy. Do I think that Charles III will end up in the same boat as Charles I? No, I don't. But at the same time, the people who most ardently support the monarchy, being conservatives, are turning off because he's espousing views which they don't believe in. He has a choice to make here. Either he supports and defends the faith that he is obligated to do, and he supports British values, or he continues this globalist, multicultural nonsense and watches support for the royal family wither away and die.
Bang. I mean, wow. Mark, I just have to say, Mark, you've been saying this for I don't know how long.
Yeah.
Look, you know me. Do you know what? I think I've changed a bit. I was all for the Constitution and everything it stood for, apart from we seem to be the only ones because the people who are meant to defend it and stand up for it aren't. So if that's going to be the case, then is it time for it all to just crash and burn and we start again?
Yep.
Because the faith and the church now are two different things.
Yeah.
The church aren't the faith. The church aren't Christian. He's just explained.
Well, did you see
communist liberals, whatever you want to call them, they're not Christians anymore.
Did you see the former Archbishop of Canterbury on Koonsberg on Sunday?
Is he a Christian anymore?
Well, he supposedly he still is.
Christianity? Does he pro-Christianity? Does he?
Well, he gave so many excuses about why certain things didn't happen. You know, regarding some of the members of the church, right? He gave so many excuses, and he didn't actually. He accepted that he was to blame for not raising the issues more seriously, more early. And then they came up, because I think it started around about 2013. I think that's when he said that he became aware of these things. But nothing happened for so long. So, the church and the monarchy, they're both at fault for what they're doing within this country because they're actually too lazy about standing up for the right things. I mean, what the hell is the king doing?
But is it that they're too lazy, or is it that they don't believe it?
Oh, or they don't care. One or the other. They don't care.
I'm afraid this is the problem with religion. It's waning, and soon there's going to be none left, and that includes Islam and all the others. So I think maybe we need to think of a new system going forward now.
Well, why are they pushing it?
And it's not working.
Why are they pushing it?
Pushing what? Sorry.
Why is the king, inviting them all in? Why is he doing that?
He's virtue signaling, isn't he? Or he's Muslim.
One or the other. That's it.
One thing we need to discuss soon is the building of this mosque in the
Lake District. Yeah. That's apparently there are a lot of people who will not supply the materials.
Yeah, the builders. Yeah, that's why we need to discuss it soon, which we'll bring it up.
Oh, they'll find it, yeah, because they'll pay over the odds, to try and make a point. But
the point is, apparently, in that particular area, is a very, very low Muslim community.
Yeah.
So why are they building the biggest mosque in Great Britain there?
It's a way of stamping their authority.
Yeah, that's it.
Because they know in the future there'll be more and more and more and more and more.
Absolutely. Okay, well,
the king will welcome it, and the king will welcome it, contrary to the oath he takes, which is to defend Christianity, our rights. He doesn't do any of this, does he?
No.
He doesn't defend our rights and our liberties.
I don't really have that much more faith in William either, to be honest with you. I think.
Well, he's already stated he's not taking the head of the Christian church.
No, that's it.
And he won't be there. I keep saying this. Then he won't.
He can't be the king.
Well, yes, you keep saying that, but he has stated that.
Yeah.
He will not be the head of the Church of England.
Well, then he won't be the king according to our constitution, unless he's going to change the whole thing without the permission of anybody else in the country.
Well, he change it because
which they will, won't they?
When Charles couldn't get married, once it'd been divorced, once Diana went, then he just changes the rules.
Yeah, but this all goes back to Henry VIII, who did the same thing.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's all they
maybe
do.
monarchies are the problem then. If they're not going to act like they should do. Like, you go back to, like, Alfred, and I'm going back a long time, but he used to go around and make sure all the courts were making the right decisions and his people were treated fairly.
Yeah.
And then if anyone invaded, he'd defend you against people coming from abroad.
Yeah.
Well, what have they done for now for about 200 or 300 years?
They've done nothing.
Not one monarch has ever refused to enact any dodgy legislation that goes against the Constitution since about, 1800s?
Yeah.
So what's the point of them?
This is the thing.
That question's going to keep rising its head, isn't it?
They believe the ceremonial, but they don't. If you read the Constitution, they still hold all the powers they did before the Glorious Revolution, but they just don't use them. So what's the point of them?
Well, let's see if the king
Yeah.
will defend these people.
He can't even defend
6
his own
police
people.
officers came to my house and arrested me. Why? Because I've been talking about my daughter's school on a WhatsApp group. Another 2 police officers were arresting my partner, Rosalind, in front of Francesca, our 3-year-old daughter. They bundled us into the police cars and took us off to custody at Stevenage Police Station, where we remained for the next 12 hours. He arrested me on suspicion of harassment and malicious communications, and it was to do with a dispute with our daughter's primary school, which began with posts on a WhatsApp group. 5 days later, the police turned up. When we were finally interviewed, the detective, who'd had no previous involvement with the case, he turned out not to have any evidence of those alleged crimes. It was Kafka-esque. Eventually, we got a call from the detective in charge of the case. He said to Rosalind, "We're taking it no further. I have found no evidence for these offences." And that was it. It was over. And even now, we still don't know what we're meant to have said or done, which was so terrible, or justified sending 6 police officers to our house.
Okay, Mark, go ahead. I know you've got some comments to make about
Yeah,
this.
I took a couple of screenshots. I literally, I'll find them now. I was listening to them getting interviewed actually on Talk, and they seem like really decent people, quite, well-spoken, decent family. One of them was previously a governor in a school. So one of their kids has actually got some disabilities. And they've been, obviously, one of his main concerns was when the headmaster stepped down, that they didn't do the correct procedure, finding a new headmaster. They just kept it in-house and put the deputy on. And he's obviously had some things to say. Now, they were actually banned from communicating with the school, but they needed to make sure the school knew how to look after the disabilities of their daughter if there was an emergency, etc. They were banned from going into the school and all kinds and communicating with school just over this.
Yeah.
I think that's actually shocking. Basically, what they're saying is don't challenge our authority or else.
Yeah.
Now, I've took some screenshots. I'll just find them now. So the first one I saw. Now, no further action was taken. Now, actually, I'll go back to the other one. So, the chairman of the governors told parents that inflammatory and defamatory comments had been seen on social media and warned that the school would take action against anyone who caused disharmony. Disharmony. Don't challenge our authority or else. But then, as it transpired, there was literally no evidence. Insufficient evidence. So normally when you arrest someone, you have some reasonable suspicion, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
You have something to go
Something.
on. No,
Yeah.
they've had a phone call from someone, shut them up. They're saying something I don't like, basically.
Well, this
And
is the thing.
People need to learn the lessons, though, because have you seen all the carnage going on in WhatsApp group chats recently?
Yeah.
I've seen it. Political.
Yeah.
I've seen friends. I've seen it. It's the reason I don't go in them. They're poison. You have to watch what you say. Otherwise, someone will use that and just make a mountain out of a molehill. So these people were questioning procedures in the school. If you're not allowed to question anyone, what kind of society are we living in?
They weren't happy about those procedures. So why is it not the case that a parent cannot actually complain?
You can't.
Right? And complain passionately about the way that their children are being educated.
I was expecting something similar when I was complaining about the gender issue.
Yeah.
2.5 years I went on about this, and I just got stonewalled. No pun intended. I just got absolutely brick-walled at every opportunity. Like these guys, I was told, "Oh, you'll be part of this working party, and we'll go through." I wasn't part of anything. None of my concerns were taken seriously. I showed how they've broken legislation, they're putting children at risk, dodgy ideologies in school that are damaging and hurtful to society and kids. They took no notice of what I said. I was expecting to knock myself for it, you know, and being called a transphobe and a homophobe, even though that wasn't the issue.
I just
children's safety was the issue, especially girls and the mental health and well-being, physical well-being of the kids. And again, they're trying to look after their kids, and what do they get? We're going down a slippery slope here. This is dystopian.
Oh, this has been enabled by the left.
But look at this. It doesn't matter if it's fascism. It doesn't matter if it's National Socialism. It doesn't matter if it's communism. We end up with the same result. We end up with the loss of individual freedoms. We have state control over the economy, society, production, and political suppression.
Yeah, that's the way that it's going.
We're creeping down that road now, where we've got most of that, and all the rest of it's coming.
And I mean, if you see the collection of stories and all the things that are going on around the world, you know, especially in the likes of, you know, Canada, France, here, the left are absolutely, totally and utterly so nervous of the right taking over that they're using the same gameplay that the Democrats used against Trump by using lawfare in trying to take him out of the picture. That's all they're doing with Le Pen. They're trying to take her out of the picture because it looks like she's going to stand a very, very good chance of winning. And they can't allow that to happen.
Isn't it funny the way they bounce around calling everyone Hitler and fascists and whatever when they're all doing the same authoritarian...
Same thing.
They're using dictatorial strategy, basically.
Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, I mean,
same result.
All the stories that were picked tonight, you know, to actually have a listen to and show the listeners, well, I should say the visitors to the channel, was to actually let them know that these things are wrong. There is something so evil about these things that are going on. And it's like a cancer. It creeps up on you slowly. And then before you know it, that's it. I saw a TikTok of a mayor of a certain state. And he actually went into a school board meeting and he said, you've got a choice to the school board. You either resign or you're going to get arrested. Your choice. And that was having woke information.
And we don't even get the chance to do any of this.
We don't get any of it.
Go down the proper route of complaint. And when you complain, they just pass it on to the governors who just repeat the same nonsense back to you. And then you just brick walled again. And
the whole thing...
The said, no, there's no complaint. Then what you do?
The whole thing about complaints in the United Kingdom is...
Waste of time.
Waste of time. They take too long. It doesn't matter who it is. The complaints procedures, it doesn't matter whether it's against a utility company, whether it's against your councillor, whether it's against anybody in authority. It wastes time and it takes a long time to get anything through. Your best bet, if you can do it, is to take legal action because that cuts through straight away.
You've got to, John, because what happens is these people are that crafty, so they don't deal with your complaint properly. So then you end up getting distracted, complaining about the complaint not being dealt with properly, and it takes the focus off the main issue. Then you're stuck in this merry-go-round of absolute nonsense. And then you'll get to the end of the complaint and they'll go, nah, there's no complaint.
Correct.
And you're like, sorry, what?
So where are we going here then? If you try to project this 5 years ahead, well, we've got to
hope that people because it's not going to be with reform. That isn't going to happen. You know, Farage is just going to kill that for everybody. I'm thinking, you know, people like Ben Habib and Rupert Lowe, we need to see where they're going. I know that Ben Habib is starting up something called the Great British Pack, which I think is a great idea. Okay? To start a movement.
I have nothing to do with that. Where have you heard that?
Yeah, but again, you've got a movement there that's now full of Tories and stuff. So will we back
they're talking about but they're right wing. They're right wing thinkers.
Yeah, right wing thinkers who got us into all this mess in the first place.
Well, they did, but I think they're thinking better of it now. They're thinking better of it now, and they will take people. They will take people like Tommy Robinson with no problem. They're not going to actually turn them away. They won't turn anybody away. That was part of anything that the parties, wouldn't actually take in. Like UKIP and Brexit and stuff like that. So I'm interested to see what develops over the next.
When they start feeling the heat like Farage does, are they going to start backtracking as well?
No,
you know what I mean? Because everyone does eventually. There's not many people who stand their ground. Rupert Lowe's the only one I've seen so far who's gone.
Yeah, he's great. I like the way he does it.
You're talking. On about Matt. You're talking about a different animal with Farage, aren't you? We've discussed this before.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Farage
I think
is on his own.
I'm going to call it there.
Farage is not what Farage seems.
I'm going to call it there. We've been on for quite a while, so we're going to say, good night. Good night. Let's have some music on. Ready? Say yes.
Is it jazz?
No.
R&B?
No, we're not listening to jazz.
Good.
Well, thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you to the listeners.
I've got a couple of oldies here, a couple of oldie ones. One I've used before, and we did the podcast didn't come out for some reason.
Well, you better hurry up.
Yeah, well, we'll do about the old lady sister with rubber. My nipples are as hot as they were 50 years ago. And he says, they ought to be. He said, one's in your coffee and one's in the porridge. And there was another one, an 80-year-old. He comes home, he said, look, he's got his wife. She stood handstands against the wall, naked. I said, what the hell are you doing? She said, well, I know we've had a few problems, like you can't get it up, so I'm just wondering if you just drop it in. That's just a thought, isn't it?
It's good. We're not even over the watershed yet.
Just a picture of that. But I mean, she's helping him, that's the main thing.
Say good night. Say good night.
Good night, everybody, and thank you again for listening.